Good evening and welcome to Gay Newsbreak. As you see, we have some changes on board, and we'd like to welcome Dorinda Boswell. Dorinda, welcome.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you aboard, and nice to have a woman's touch to the show.
Well, thank you, darling. I'm glad to be here.
Listen, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions about all this political stuff going on in the arena. I'm curious to get a woman's point of view as to what you've heard or maybe how you feel about Bill Clinton. What do you think he should do?
Well, I continue to hear that impeachment is in progress, and many people just want to, I think, punish him for what they consider he's done wrong.
Right. Well, I heard on today's news, I heard that if Al Gore replaces him after January 20th, he has the potential to be president for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
So, but if it's before, he can only run the next term and serve out the remainder of Clinton's term, which would be about 6 years. So we're looking at 6 as opposed to 10, and I don't know how people feel about that. So that's
a very long time.
It is. It's quite a while.
I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want any man for 10 years.
Well, we'll go right into the local news on that one. Organizers of the Oklahoma City AIDS Walk are reporting a broader base of support for this year's annual HIV and AIDS fundraising event, far surpassing efforts of previous years. According to CarePoint Executive Director Kay Holliday, this year's AIDS Walk has received tremendous support and response from all the segments of Oklahoma City community, not just the gay community. A September 27th kickoff party for donors and volunteers at Millennium is being sponsored by the Millennium Restaurant, the Metro, the Coach House, and New Leaf Floral. The AIDS Walk will take place at the Myriad Botanical Gardens in downtown Oklahoma City on Sunday, October 25th, and will include a full slate of outstanding entertainers and bands. Holliday noted a complete list of entertainers would be made available as the date drew closer. Proceeds from the walk will be split evenly and made available to 10 area HIV and AIDS services, agencies, and organizations through a grant application process. As the managing agency, CarePoint will be included in those receiving funds. An independent committee not affiliated with any of the local service agencies will select the other 9 agencies. According to Holliday, the committee will review applications and select the recipients based on a predetermined selection criteria. Dorinda?
Thank you. In the past couple of months, there has been an outpouring of support for those in need in our community. It's been encouraging to watch and be a part of people coming together for the benefit of others. There have been 4 different fundraiser events that have taken place. The first was for Marita Morales, who committed suicide. The fundraiser was held at Diversity Coffee Shop, where donations were at $400 to help cover funeral expenses. The second was for Cindy Denny, who fought breast cancer 2 years ago and won. She had just finished paying those medical expenses when she was diagnosed with liver cancer. Her friends pulled together a most successful fundraiser that was held at KA's, where they raised over $4,200. The third was for Tim Locke, who suffers from AIDS. This fundraiser was held at Partners and raised close to $800 for his medical expenses. The most recent fundraising event was for Jimmy Pemberton, also held at Partners. This was another successful evening where over $2,000 was raised to help with funeral expenses. While each of these events are a sad occasion, I can't help but find and see the goodness that was brought to surface by so many people. Teamwork at its finest. Teams of people that may or may not know the person they are there to support, just the cause. And repeatedly I would hear that the cause was to celebrate that one person's life. All 4 of these people, Marita Morales, Cindy Denny, Tim Locke, and Jimmy Pemberton, continue to play an important role in life. Their spirit, their purpose, and their lives will always be a cause to celebrate. Our community has come together to show that when goodness is shared, it only grows. It's been encouraging to watch and be a part of our community coming together for the benefit of others.
Tonight, Friday, and Sunday nights in Little Rock, Arkansas, the 16th annual Mr. Gay All-American contest will be held at Discovery. 30 to 40 contestants who have qualified will come from all across the country to compete for the coveted title. Richard Greer, our current Mr. Gay Spirit, and Barrett Bradbury, his first alternate, will be representing Oklahoma at this contest. They will all compete in 5 categories: personal interview, talent, fashion modeling, on-stage question, and swimwear. Everyone is encouraged to come out and support these two men and to see all the other contestants. And Dorinda, let me tell you, they come from all over, and it's a lot of fun.
Oh, I bet.
We do a special show on Saturday to raise money for an AIDS charity there in Little Rock, and rumor has it, Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton may make an appearance, if you know what I mean.
I do.
John, how are you doing today?
Just fine.
Glad to have you on board. And I understand, speaking of on board, you have some comments about some of the passengers on Swissair 111 in some of your stories today.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, John, and welcome, Dorinda. It's nice to have you here tonight.
Thank you, John.
In the national news, as John mentioned, among the victims killed in the crash of Swissair 111 on September 2nd was Dr. Jonathan Mann, described as a pioneer in the global fight against AIDS. Mann was 51 and was Dean of the School of Public Health at the Allegheny University of the Health Sciences in Philadelphia. Dr. Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, told United Press International that Mann's death was a major, major loss to AIDS research. Fauci said Mann was one of the first and most persistent loud voices during the 80s to call attention to the global scale of the epidemic and forecast the severe risk it could be for heterosexuals. From 1986 to 1990, Mann was founding director of the World Health Organization's global program on AIDS based in Geneva. Mann also worked in Zaire. According to Fauci, Mann shoved and encouraged and berated the rest of the world to pay attention. Mann's wife, Mary Lou Clements Mann, was traveling with him and was also killed. The two were en route to Geneva to attend a series of meetings on AIDS. While I was in San Francisco last week, I was kind of amused by a story I found in the San Francisco Chronicle. The headline read, "Bay Area sex experts call Clinton Lewinsky encounters tame." Now, where but San Francisco could you find this slant on this story? The reporter interviewed sex therapists, cross-dressers, and sex professionals in the Bay Area to get their take on this issue. According to the story, in San Francisco's famously polyglot sexual culture, the reaction to the president's proclivities ranged from ho-hum to who cares. One source quoted in the article is Jack Fertig, who you may know better as his one-time alter ego, Sister Boom Boom, of the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. Fertig said, "I don't care if Clinton is doing a three-way with Janet Reno and a monkey. It's his private business." Two sex therapists proclaim Clinton's behavior as common. Another source, porn star Nina Hartley, describes herself as a Berkeley feminist bisexual sex industry worker. She admired Clinton's ability to multitask, as demonstrated by the report that he was talking on the phone while receiving oral sex.
Clinton, a monkey, and Janet Reno. I don't think I'd like to think about that.
Very colorful. Well, we will be right back with Desmond Stone doing our health news.
You always have to be in control. When you're going out to a club and you're drinking or whatever it is, you always have to be in control. In control. In control. In control.
Respect yourself. Protect yourself.
Welcome back. I'm Desmond Stone with your health news this week. Cryptosporidiosis, or crypto as it is commonly called, is caused by a microscopic one-celled animal that wreaks havoc with people who are immunosuppressed. Crypto is contracted when you put anything in your mouth that has come in contact with the bug, which is often found in stool, as well as untreated drinking water and food. Symptoms appear 2 to 10 days after exposure and may include diarrhea, fever, stomach cramps, and an upset stomach. There is no cure for cryptosporidiosis, but there are drugs that can reduce the symptoms. The best treatment for it is prevention. Know what you're eating or drinking and wash your hands often and thoroughly. A French doctor reports that Norvir may be linked to kidney dysfunction. After reviewing the medical records of 87 AIDS patients, he noted that 50% of the patients had elevated lab values after 6 months of Norvir use, which suggested the possibility of kidney damage. He suggests that patients currently on Norvir have their kidney function monitored closely so that any signs of damage can be found early before it becomes a serious problem. So far, only 17 states require mandatory HIV testing for new prison inmates. Figures from a study ending in 1995 show that the AIDS rate among prisoners in the U.S. is 6 times higher than that of the general population. Calls for increased mandatory testing in all prisons nationwide caused the ACLU to voice concerns that mandatory testing will not be accompanied by treatment and counseling programs. You may recall recently that one prisoner with AIDS has sued his state, claiming that treatment had been withheld. Oklahoma is one of the 17 states that require testing for all new inmates. Some researchers suspect that bacterial vaginosis may contribute substantially to the spread of HIV. Studies have identified an association between vaginosis and HIV infection, possibly the result of a loss of lactobacilli in the vagina. One study indicated that a particular strain of lactobacilli may confer resistance against bacterial vaginosis and HIV, and women who douche at least monthly double their risk of vaginosis, possibly due to the destruction of healthy vaginal flora. John?
Stay with us. We'll be right back with Inside Out.
Fortunately, many Americans have found a way to respond to HIV.
I got a friend that's got AIDS.
What? They're shooting us? You think that's the only way
They're
people
educating their employees,
The issue here is education. AIDS is growing fast.
their communities,
in small towns.
especially their friends and their families.
Last year I found out that I have HIV.
If we're going to prevent the spread of HIV, each and every one of us must do our part. Find out how you can help prevent HIV. Call 1-800-342-AIDS.
I've taught my kids just the way my mama taught me. She gave me a strong sense about what's right. She called it motherwit. Even as young as my kids are, they know their way around. And they're well aware I can draw the line if I have to. But with AIDS out there, I'm going to have to dig a little deeper and talk a little longer about drugs, sex, and AIDS.
We can help you talk about AIDS. For a free guide, call 1-800-342-AIDS.
Hi, welcome back. I'm Desmond Stone, and our guest this week on Inside Out is Deborah Cranford. She's with the executive committee at OU, who is putting together the 4th annual OU AIDS Walk. Good evening, Deborah. It's nice to have you with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
This is the 4th OU AIDS Walk, the 4th annual AIDS Walk, and is this your first experience with the event?
Yes, it is. I started to work in February, and it was one of my duties that I was assigned.
Tell us about the AIDS Walk.
I've been contacting businesses all over town to get them to donate food, to encourage more walkers, students, and I have been contacting members of the Norman HIV/AIDS Coalition to come and set up booths to pass out literature and information.
Approximately how many people are you expecting to attend this year?
Well, we hope to have about 200, but we did have about 80 commit from Moore Norman Votech, so maybe we'll have a better turnout than we anticipated.
Just one organization or facility alone made that
right.
kind of a commitment.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned the different types of booths that you're trying to get set up along the AIDS Walk route. What kinds of booths will be there? What can the participants expect to see?
Well, Moore Norman Votech is going to be there. RAIN is going to be there. The Public Library. We'll see who else.
Quite a few, I'd imagine.
Yeah, we have 7 firmly committed right now and expect a few more.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned that you had also had contacted local businesses for different items or products to donate to the AIDS Walk. Are these sponsors of the walk, or what will be their involvement?
Mainly donating food items for the walkers after the walk, although we are going to have massages available after the walk too, which will probably be welcome.
I would imagine, yeah. There's going to be a vendor area?
We'll have tables set up at the end of the walk.
What about fundraising and awareness? The AIDS Walk, of course, any AIDS Walk is designed to create greater awareness. Are you looking for funds, soliciting money to maybe distribute to other agencies?
Yes, walkers can walk for free just for awareness, just to raise awareness, or they can seek donations from friends and colleagues, that sort of thing. And the money that we raise is going to be split evenly among Sooner Sight, the Red Cross HIV/AIDS Coalition, and OU AIDS programs. eventually we'd like to raise enough money to establish a scholarship at OU.
What are some of the programs, the OU AIDS programs that are available? Are these programs that are available to the student body, or?
We do go into the community, but most of the people that we speak to are related to OU in some way. Sooner Heat is the health education awareness team. It's made up of peer volunteers, and they're educated on STDs and that sort of thing, and they present mostly to campus organizations, but we do go out into the community if we're asked to.
So you're helping to provide resources not only for those organizations on campus, but you're also helping to provide an outreach program as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that is excellent. That's excellent. What is the date of the OU AIDS Walk?
It's September 23rd. It's a week from today, and it starts at 12 noon. You can register at 11:30 at the walk, or if you want to register in advance, packets can be picked up at Houston Huffman, Goddard Health Center, and the Center for Student Life at the Union.
Registration begins at 11:30?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What does that entail?
Just filling out a form.
Okay. All right. And of course, there is no cost for this, but it's great that if someone can donate some money, any money at all,
sure,
it will go to a very good cause.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for being with us. We're running out of time, and we're going to toss it back to John and Dorinda.
Thank you, Desmond. It's very interesting. I think it's wonderful that OU has that going on now for the 4th year. And
they're getting wonderful publicity.
Yes, they are.
Really getting the information out there, so hopefully they'll have a great attendance.
Good for Norman. Please remember that again. It's next Wednesday, September 23rd at 12 noon, and you can register at 11:30. We hope all of you come out and attend that and support the AIDS Walk here in Norman. Well, since you're new and this is your first night, I think the audience would like to know a little bit about you. Kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, if you would.
Well, I'm a massage therapist.
Oh, okay. I have to remember that. I'll have you making my appointment.
Okay, please do.
Soon.
And I do a little singing, and I work at Diversity Coffee Shop. So on the singing, I heard a lot about you before I ever met you. It was all good.
Well, I was going to say, I hope it's halfway good anyway. But, you know, you and I did we sang at the benefit, they had a benefit at Diversity quite a while ago, and we had a great turnout there, and I really enjoyed it. That was at the old Diversity location, and I have been to the new one, and I look forward to the fundraisers that you'll have there.
And we will be having many, I know. There's talk of several wanting to come up and have some fundraisers and some charity events, and we have so much wonderful talent in this community. And
we do more than people realize.
Oh, very talented people. And your name always comes up right at the top of the list, and many people have said that we need to sing together. So
well, I would be honored.
I would be flattered.
We'll definitely have to talk about that. And so far, how do you feel? I know it's the first night jitters and everything.
I'm having fun.
Well,
I love it. Everybody's been very nice. And
well, we hope to have everybody that sees Dorinda, please support her and be with us each week on Thursday nights. And please, again, call in on our talkback line and let us know what you think, good and bad. We're here for you. And if we need to improve anywhere, we would like your comments on that, as well as to get your positive comments, too.
Definitely.
So we thank you for that. And right now, we're going to turn it over to Ricky Staten. Ricky, what do you have for us tonight?
Thanks, John. With tonight's entertainment report, I'm Ricky Staten. A few weeks ago, I told you about a public argument between James Collard, the editor of Out Magazine, and Michelangelo Signorilli, a featured writer. Signorilli was unhappy at the direction the magazine had taken during the 6 months Collard had been in charge. I guess the two men were unable to reconcile, and Signorilli abruptly left the magazine. His resignation has left many critics wondering where Out Magazine is headed. One critic, Michael Wilkie, who covers gay media for Advertising Age, admits that the magazine has moved away from serious stories in favor of features on style, fashion, and art. Some critics are accusing the editor of dumbing down the magazine. Collard resents the criticism and says that fashion is not incompatible with serious reporting. All I know is that the magazine has definitely changed. Nathan Lane has gone on the defensive to counter all the criticism his new series, Encore Encore, is taking. In a recent interview, he was quoted as saying, "I have no desire to be a role model for anybody, but in a sense, I feel like I have been because I've played a variety of gay roles." It seems many gay people are upset that his character in the series is heterosexual. Lane acknowledges that the role is a stretch, but says the flack he's receiving is coming from angry queens who expect him to only play flamboyant gay roles. He says that NBC already has 2 gay characters in the series Will and Grace, and they don't need him prancing around too. And finally, on a more serious note, the Michigan Court of Appeals has overturned the murder conviction of Jonathan Smits. In 1996, he appeared on the Jenny Jones Show. During the show's taping in Chicago, a gay man named Scott Amador revealed a secret crush on Smits. When the two returned to Michigan, Smits shot and killed Amador. He was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 25 to 50 years in prison. In the appeal, his attorneys argued that they were not allowed to remove a juror before the trial began. The appeals court said the error was harmful enough to warrant overturning the conviction. Smits will remain in custody, though, while prosecutors appeal this latest decision. Back to you, John.
Thank you very much, Ricky. And I'd like to introduce another new gentleman that we're having with us tonight. He's going to give us a perspective each week and a commentary, and his name is Robert Caldwell. Robert, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
We look forward to your weekly insights, and I'm sure the audience will too.
Gay parents who value their relationship with their children must take the frightening and sometimes risky step of coming out to their children. Most gay parents erroneously assume if their children want to know, they will ask. Let's look at that assumption. When we were children, some things we felt completely safe to ask about. On the other hand, there were some things we felt insecure in asking. During our childhood, we frequently took cues from our parents about the safety of certain subjects. Your children will take cues from you about the openness and safety of certain subjects, especially your homosexuality. Now consider homosexuality with all of its connotations, mostly negative, that your child will be exposed to as they grow up. Suppose there is something going on in your life that leads your child to believe that you are gay, yet your child has never heard you talk about it. Nevertheless, your child will ask themselves if dad or mom is that immoral creature they heard about on television or from friends at school. Never assume that your child will ask unless you, as a gay parent, have sent your child the cues that is a safe subject to talk about. Some parents assume their children will know they are gay shortly after they, the parent, begin to show signs of a gay lifestyle. This is only partly true. Not every child will immediately conclude that gay behavior equals gay parent. Gay culture in America is at a turning point. Assumptions within the community that have been held true for years are being questioned. Outside the community, decisions with major consequences are being weighed by the courts, legislatures, and by the media. Fortunately, attitudes about sexuality in general are changing. Society at large is becoming more understanding in the light of accurate information. If the public's attitude about gays and our rights as parents is going to change, then first our attitudes about ourselves as gay men and lesbian women and parents must change. In the current issue of the Gaily, the author, David Phelps, talks about some of the problems that our gay teens are facing. In his editorial entitled, Gay Teens, the Future, he tells about a mother's 4-year struggle to help her 14-year-old son, who is suicidal, find peace with his homosexuality. Back to you, John.
Robert, that's very interesting. I have a daughter myself, and we've had to even go into the courts, and my sexuality was brought up. And I have been honest with her from day one and not really lied. And it's amazing how much children can soak in and take if you just talk to them and sit down and talk to them that it's nothing to be ashamed about.
This is very true. It's also hard for a parent when they're raising their child to be open and honest, and they can't be honest and open with their child.
Absolutely.
So it brings up a lot of problems that the parent has, not just the child.
Well, some great information. Thank you very much, and welcome again to the show.
Thank you.
Dorinda?
Thank you, Robert. We will be right back with closing comments. Thank you.
Well, as you're all aware, Alan has announced he's HIV positive. He's okay, but does anybody know what he's going through? What do our people think? We need to get on this. Shirley, do we have an employee policy? Are we required to set one up? Kurt, is he covered by our insurance plan? Okay, Ellen, as his manager, is he entitled to extra time off?
At least 1 in 10 businesses has had an employee with HIV.
John. Terry?
If you have a business, you need answers.
How can we help? Anybody? Anybody at all?
Call for this manager's kit and help keep your workplace healthy and productive.
It's awfully quiet in here.
We'd like to thank Deborah Cranford with the 4th Annual OU AIDS Walk for being our guest today at Inside Out. And again, I want to welcome Dorinda and also Robert, you both to the show. I think it's going to be two fantastic additions, and we're really proud to have you with us. And again, we encourage you to call in on our talkback line and let us know what you think. And Robert, I'm curious to know, with this weekly commentary, what we can look forward to a little bit next week.
Next week, we're going to be talking about the difference between an individualist and a nonconformist.
Very interesting. Looking forward to that. Dorinda, again.
I'd like to say thank you. Thank you to Gay News Break Board and all of you for all of your help and for having me.
Well, you both have done a great job, and we look forward to a long-term relationship. And again, we thank you for being with us, too. So we'll see you next week. Take care.
Good night.